Hickok45 here. Yes, welcome to the Hickok45 Talks channel. You realize where you are, right? Be sure you're checking out the Hickok45 Clips channel and, of course, the main channel, Hickok45. All right, John's posting lots of cool stuff on the Clips channel. I'm posting lots of boring stuff on this channel, okay? This, some people might wonder why we're doing this. John kind of came up with it all. It's like, why not? He's bringing back a lot of cool stuff that we've done over the years that we haven't seen. A lot of you haven't seen. You don't go back through the catalog and I forget about it. So it's kind of nice. And then this is just a time and a place to talk. So, you know, it's a different sort of animal, right? And it's like, why not? Who knows how long we're all going to be here? I just might want to talk about things, you know, in a different, I will say not environment, but just a different setting. I'm not reviewing a firearm, and I can literally talk about anything I want or do anything I want here, so it's kind of nice, you know. There might be things I just ain't got said over the years I've been doing this. Who knows? And again, this is just my experience, my opinions, anything I'm talking about. I'm not an expert in anything, but I end up talking about all sorts of things, right? Yeah, man. So someone asked me to talk about my, was it just the USPSA? Yeah, please do talks video about your experience with USPSA and other competitions. So this is my opportunity to pat myself on the back and brag a little bit. No. But I'll talk a little bit about it. I allude to it every now and then. I don't think I ever set out in shooting from even the early days, early 70s when I started shooting more, got out of college and everything. I never had this feeling, this thinking mindset, wow, this gun is cool. I'm able to shoot it pretty well now. I need to find some competition. I'll bet I can beat a lot of people. You know, I mean, you probably can imagine. I never really had that mindset. It is fun if you're good at something, basketball or checkers or whatever it is, to challenge other people or whatever. But I never had that feeling. It came from just a fondness for shooting and firearms. Mostly. I mean, we all enjoy showing off, I guess, if we can do something. But it was really just like the first competition, I don't want to tell any lies, was, the IHMSA, International Handgun Metallic Silhouette Association, long range, you know, shooting, pistol shooting. I guess that's the very first thing I did that would be like an organized competition. I had already discovered, out at the Owl Hollow Range, Charlie Hafner's range, in the early 70s, they had buffaloes I've talked about and groundhogs set up, cut out of steel, sitting on logs or timbers out there. You know, they mainly used them for muzzle loading matches. And I got to shooting at them with handguns when I was out there, and I'd hit one occasionally and hear it clang and see it fall over, and that I got hooked doing that. And so then at that same location, I don't know how much help I was with that, but we established a chapter for the IHMSA and started having matches once a month, I guess it was. That would have been mid-70s, I guess, 76, 77, I think. But and so I just took my 29 out there, 44 mag, and I had fun doing that. It was really tough, really hard. I had to work at it and figure out how much to move my sights at each distance, because you're shooting at 50, 100, 150, and 200 meters. And I would raise my rear sight, certain turns, not clicks, at each distance, and I could keep pretty much the same sight picture at each distance. And I hit enough to keep it interesting, you know. So I did that. I don't know, shot 10, 15 matches doing that, messing around, or more. Shot one up in northern Kentucky, I know, when I was up there one time. Shot, over at Gallatin. They had them too. That's right. I shot a couple of matches over at the Gallatin Gun Club there at the Steam Plant, Tennessee. Might have gone to Oak Ridge once. I don't know. But anyway, that was kind of fun for a while. And then and I guess it was in the and then we get into the 80s, and I'm starting to see videos are out there or something on TV, one of the shooting channels, like there's a lot of those, right? One of the cable channels. I don't know what they all are now, but where they would show maybe even cowboy matches occasionally, or a USPSA match. People running around, crawling through barrels and shooting, targets and that kind of thing. And I just, all along the way, I thought that looks like fun, because I was getting into shooting the more and more the 1911. Was hand loading a lot for it, and that's what they were all shooting. And I thought, that looks like fun, but I don't know anybody around here doing that. It'd be fun to maybe try sometime. And so I kind of fell into that. Had the 45 and everything. There was a match I saw advertised at, actually I was in John Arnold's Specialty Arms. What year would that have been? Mid to later, not too late, but probably 86, 87 or something. In his gun shop, there was something on the wall I saw on the bulletin board about a match going to take place down Murfreesboro, somewhere in Murfreesboro. I couldn't even tell you how I got there. But so I thought, that'd be kind of fun. A little scary. I didn't believe I just went down there. I didn't know anybody else that would be willing to try that, because I knew it was an action match. I'd seen some of the videos and that sort of thing. Now, I didn't have the right gear. I don't know, I had a holster with a snap on it, flap, and a stock 1911 45. I think I had one magazine holder for 2 mags maybe. And I just drove down there on my own one Saturday, or whenever that thing took place. I'm sure it was Saturday, and there were a lot of people there, and I had never done anything like that. So I just kind of listened and watched, and I wasn't really going to sign up. I got looking around. I thought, well, I'll just go watch it and see what this is about. I took my gear, but I just was planning to probably watch and see if this was something I wanted to try or whatever. And I think there were, because I remember from the score sheet, there were, I don't know, about 40 people, maybe 50, I don't know, that showed up. And there were people who had done this too. Met some people, they had done this, I don't know, maybe for years or whatever, and they were, I thought, unbelievable the way they shot and had the gear and all that. So, but anyway, I went ahead, I got to looking around, I don't know, I might as well shoot. And I didn't know the rules or anything, but I kind of figured out as I went along. And I went through the 3 or 4 stages, whatever they had, and wasn't sure how it was scored. I didn't know how it was scored. I didn't realize a hostage counted that much against you, or a miss on a target, and I tried to shoot too fast. Probably I did well on the steel knockdowns, and I could tell like one of the early stages, they had a bunch of pepper poppers and 4 or 5, and you knock them down. And we were the range officer, because I didn't have the right gear, and how I could use this holster. It had a flap and a snap, and I think the rule was you had to use the snap if you had one, and your holster, your gun had to be snapped down. This is a USPSA match, and it was a carry holster, and so I snapped it. Okay, that's fine. I don't know, and so when I drew, I had to snap it, and everything, and shoot the poppers and all that. So I remember him thinking, it gave me some encouragement, because I remember, I think I remember who it was, but he was like, okay, who's this big dummy? He had never seen me before, and I had never done anything like that, and I got the wrong gear, flush mags. I don't have any base pads on my magazines. It was a stock 1911 and all that, and that would have, 87, probably 88, I guess. But you'd shoot like 3 runs or something on these poppers, and I remember after the first run or the second run, he said, oh man, you've done this before, haven't you? Or something like that. I said, well, no, not really, except on my own range. I plink around, But so I got a little confidence, you know, that this guy was a little bit impressed, you know, like that you steal that quick. But I didn't know how to score the thing. You know, I lost a lot of points from just not understanding the weight that I miss on paper, you know, would count against you and all that kind of thing. But anyway, I ended up being like 15th in that match or something, and which was amazing to me. And I won a holster. I still got it, you know. I mean, you know, you could pick something up on the table, you know, all kinds of things on the table, products donated, gun companies or whoever, and gun shops, and based on where you placed. And I was like 15th or 16th, which bowled me over, you know, couldn't believe it. But so that kind of got me hooked. I thought, well, this is fun, this is cool, you know. And there wasn't a lot of, as I recall, running or crawling through barrels and as much of that as I thought there might be. There was some of that. But I just was hooked. I found another match down around Bedford County coming up sometime after that, I don't know. And I went to that one. I actually won a couple of trophies at that one. Wow. No, you could knock me over with a twig, boy. I actually came home with a couple of trophies for winning various stages or something, you know, and that always enhances interest, right? We did that at the club. We started up at North Tennessee Practical Shooters. We gave trophies for like first, second, third place and all the classes and everything. And it was a big deal to people, you know, just like it was to me when I started. And eventually you get so many of them, you know, what do I do all these dumb things, you know, for third place or second place or whatever. It doesn't have a lot of meaning after you've done it a while maybe. And I actually finally let them go, but most of those. But anyway, I was kind of hooked. We started the club in Clarksville, Tennessee. Got a chapter going, you know, IDPA, USPSA, and went to the state match in Oak Ridge in '89 and shot in it, right? Yeah. Didn't just walk, shot in it, yeah. And I think I did well in like C class or something, and then the next year, I guess 1990, I think I won C class and won a gun, and oh boy, that was it. I was, you know, I still got that. That's in 1911 Springfield, and you've seen maybe in a video. But anyway, yeah, I've turned this into a braggadocio video, but I mean, it was just fun. It was just fun. And it was the early days, at least for us and the group that I was hanging out with. We were all working and getting better and shooting a lot. And most of the gear was pretty practical still at that type, but they're just getting into red dots and all that on handguns in open class. I did that for a year or two, but mostly I was interested in the limited class, you know, just and would shoot from a inside the waistband holster, you know, with a stock 45. But then I tried a Glock some and just shot a Glock 23 in matches. And so for 3-4 years, I did that in a big way. Just thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just fun, you know. No matter where you placed, it was fun. Won a few matches, won a few guns, and just had a good time. But I got to the point where, okay, like we guys do a lot, don't we? We just go great guns with something and we kind of burn out, or we just were ready to move on, do something different. And I was spending a lot of time at those matches when I could have been here just enjoying something else, lever gun or getting some work done or whatever, and I kind of fell away from it, you know, at that point. I realized I wasn't going to take it seriously enough. People always said I had a lot of potential in terms of, you know, sky was the limit and all that kind of thing, but I just never did really work at it as hard as some people did. I couldn't get excited about cutting off another 1/10 of a second on my draw stroke, you know, or getting the best gear for that, or running into the next box and shooting around the barricade and working and working and working on the best footwork to get that done, where you're shaving off that 1/4 of a second, you know, or that draw stroke. And all that just got a little too tedious for me. I just didn't care enough about that. I was really still in the Jeff Cooper mindset, I guess. I just wanted to be proficient with my firearm and enjoy shooting it and shooting through those scenarios, but I just couldn't get excited about going to that next level, really. It was just not interesting enough to me, really. So I never really realized, I guess, how far I could have gone with it, which was fine because that was all intentional. I just enjoyed it. And I don't know, somebody mentioned an IDPA match. Along the way, you got people shooting in both disciplines, IDPA and USPSA. And, that sounds interesting, because I was kind of falling away from the USPSA, or had fallen away, I guess, hadn't gone to matches much. And I went down and tried that, and that was more practical, still not totally realistic, but more practical. It was kind of the approach I had taken at the USPSA matches, and for the most part. And so I did that for pretty regularly for a couple of years, and that was fun. That was fun. They shot my Glock 23, I guess, almost every match in that, and also a Glock 26 at the point. And then did the GSSF matches, the Glock Sports Shooting Foundation matches. Those were fun. Along about that same time, I'd go to those occasionally, shoot my Glock 26, and in subcompact class, especially Lexington. I shot that one almost every year for 2 or 3, 4 years, and Kentucky. And I'd come in like second or third in subcompact, and I was determined to win. I told you that. I finally won subcompact, won a gun, won the 10 millimeter, the Glock 29. My first 10 millimeters, what I chose. You choose a Glock if you win. And imagine that. They don't give you a Smith & Wesson at a Glock match. And so I finally came in first, and that was tough. You've been to a GSSF match, there's a lot of new shooters, and grandma might be trying it out. She's got a Glock, and it's geared for that. Everybody's welcome. And it's like a kind of USPSA in a lot of ways, but not quite as challenging. Because again, they cater to, I guess they're still the same way. They want anybody to be able to go through the match, at least, okay? So they're not going to make grandma crawl through some barrel or some crazy thing, stand on her head and shoot from under something. And, but, it's generally kind of like a easy USPSA match. And, I forgot what I was going to say, but I was going somewhere with that. But they were not, where I was going with it was, you had a lot of first-time gun buyers or Glockers or whatever maybe, but you also had folks like me that have been shooting USPSA and other disciplines and are Glock fans. A lot of them around, need I tell you. And so you would have, like in any class, maybe 8 or 10 people or 7 or 8 or whatever. They're top-notch shooters. And so that's who I was competing against. I wasn't competing against grandma that bought a Glock last week. It was those people that kept knocking me down into second or third place in subcompact that I was trying to beat, and finally did. So that was just a Glock 26 right out of the box. Sights that come with it, and all that kind of thing. So I still got that. But so I did that, and then the last competition was cowboy action shooting, somewhere along about that way. And I'd been seeing videos, like I say, or Saturday morning, some special on cowboy action shooting. It was really getting popular in the 80s. And somehow I found out, or I looked it up, and down in War Trace, saw they were having matches. I went down and watched. I did go. I think the first one I did just watch. I don't think I took firearms because I didn't have any of the gear. And I did watch. I found out what you kind of needed and all that. And I was reluctant to dress up. That was a thing. I'm 6'8". I don't need cowboy boots to make me 7'8", and all that. And or a cowboy hat. But I could tell you didn't have to look like you stepped off the set of Tombstone. As long as you had some leather boots of some kind, and a cowboy hat, long sleeve shirt, long sleeve pant, long pants. Yeah, it's good. And of course you needed 2 pistols, two handguns, a rifle, and a shotgun. And they were good about lending you stuff. And I know Preston Sweeney ran that club at the time. His last name, I think he's passed now. But he owned that property and everything. And he was real nice to me when I came to watch. He said, come on down. This is long before Hickok stuff. And so I didn't shoot in that match, right? I think, or maybe it was the next month I shot, and then he invited me to go shoot in Chattanooga with him. It was either after the first match I shot, I think it was. I shot a match at War Trace, and then it was between that one and the next one. We went. I went down with him and went to Chattanooga. Mountain Marauders, I think they were called, and hooked up at his house. Met him at his house and his wife, and then we rode down there in their car. Got my guns together. Got down there. Chattanooga, and he lives in Murfreesboro, but I had all my handguns, ammo, gear, and he took me through his house, showed me all his guns, talked guns for a while, before we finally got away. Well, and all that, I went off and left my long guns in my car. Got down there, didn't have a shotgun or my rifle. So he lent me his 1873, and I forget what shotgun it was, double or pump. I think he shot a pump most of the time. I don't remember, but I shot his I shot his shotgun and his rifle, and his ammo, his all that. Yeah, he was really nice about that. Shot my 2 Ruger Vaqueros at that time I had, I think. Anyway, shot in Chattanooga, and I'll be darned, I didn't win that match. And with his gun, beat him with his rifle, his shotgun. It was funny. But so I got hooked on that, and that was fun, and did that for about 10 years off and on, and found other clubs and shot. It wasn't too long before I got into Frontier cartridge, started loading black powder, and started shooting duelists pretty quickly. Within that first year, that means with one hand. It was a different class. Because I really wasn't interested in USPSA, I was pretty competitive, and IDPA, I wanted to win the match, because I did win several matches, overall. Not just my class. And when I got into that, I love those old guns, as you know. I didn't want to adulterate my enjoyment of those firearms by taking it so seriously that I need to shoot 1,000 rounds between matches to, again, shave off time and get better and get better. I just enjoy those guns and wanted to enjoy the matches and be around like-minded people that like those guns. And I decided I want to shoot pretty early on, like John Wayne does, or one-handed. I probably think most people did back in the day, and but not everybody, I'm sure, at every time they shot. And so then I got into the Frontier cartridge, started loading black powder into my rifle, shotgun, all the shells, and made a mess, but it was fun. That was fun. So I did that most of the time I did it, I guess, Frontier cartridge. And I did. I won the Frontier cartridge class, several times. But honestly, it didn't matter. I really didn't care. You're shooting, your best, of course. You're in a match, you're shooting, but it didn't bother me a bit if I came in 5th or 1st or 3rd or 10th, really. I just enjoyed doing it, and then go home and clean up the guns. And that big cowboy action shooting is a different sort of animal. It requires a lot of prep. I'd start on Friday afternoon or Friday night. I get in from teaching. I was teaching all the time I was doing that. I get in, okay, am I going to take off and be gone all day tomorrow at this match, and okay, I started getting ammo together, and all 4 of my guns and my leather gear and bags and just ammo for everything, shotgun shells, and just make sure you got it all. And then plus your clothing, or my boots, where are my boots, where's my cowboy hat, I got everything, so it's a pretty big deal. And I'd be down there the entire day. It'd be hot. It didn't matter. This place was out in a field pretty much, not a lot of shade. And middle of August or July or whatever, there you are, because it's a full day affair, all day. You're doing a lot of waiting and watching other people shoot and helping pick up their brass and ROing maybe with them and all that. But it's a full day, and you're dressed out. You're decked out in long pants, long shirt. It might be 98 degrees and humid, so you're playing like a real cowboy. I did fine. There there were a lot of old people doing it, of course, and you'd see them looking for shade, man, and about to fall out. I'm sure some did, but it's fun, and plus you're carrying. You can, of course, your shotgun and rifle is like in a cart, or you got it leaned up against a rail somewhere between stages because you're not shooting it. But your handguns, usually you got a double holster rig, and you got your handguns on you, pretty much the whole day. So you're packing around a lot of hardware, in the heat and the sun or the cold, whatever it is. And of course, that's where I got even more insight into the fact that Westerns are so Hollywood, when it comes to packing guns. You see all the favorite movies. I'm going way too long here, aren't I? But those guys carrying two guns, the sheriff or whoever, whatever the movie is or series, not many people pack two handguns, I guarantee you, just in general. Now, if you're in the Civil War or you're going to battle, yeah, you might, especially in the percussion era, they might stick 6 guns in their belt if they can, especially if they're on horseback, right? But as far as walking around town with a full rig and 2 firearms, that's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight and a lot of heat. But anyway, so I did that for about 10 years. And actually, I have not really competed in a good while. Really since the early days of starting this up, partly just the time. You got to devote time to it. You go off for the weekend or a whole day Saturday or whatever it was. And when we started doing this, I was teaching like the first 5 or 6 years of doing this. And so, we'd get home on a weekend, we were making a video or 2 or 3. If the weather was bad, we didn't maybe get anything done that weekend. And so we were trying to get the channel going once we realized people were crazy enough to watch it. And so it was kind of a time factor in a lot of ways too. So all that stuff kind of fell away, and I was shooting a lot and doing this, and I'd sort of been there and done that with all those games. So there you go. There you go. I don't know if that answers it, but that's sort of the long way around the barn on my competition world. Am I leaving anything out? The GSSF matches, Cowboy action, IDPA, USPSA, HMSA, any other shooting competition that I do. And then I shot various guns, went through different guns and all those, to some extent. In the IHSMA, I actually tried a contender. I was mainly stand and shoot. I'd shoot production, stand and shoot my Model 29, the one I still got. I'll show you the picture in those anniversary videos of me at that one of those matches, or at least back there shooting. I think that is a match, yeah. I did try open class, just a couple of matches. I had a contender, and I got a barrel. Someone had told me, and I talked to somebody that was shooting it or saw them do well, and I got a barrel chambered in .256 Winchester Magnum, which I knew nothing about really, but somebody else was shooting that. And I got a barrel in that chambering, and I don't think I loaded the ammo. Maybe I did, and I got enough ammo to try it out, sight it in. .256 Winchester Mag, iron sights, right? Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, it was a long barrel on that contender pistol. And I went to a match up in Gallatin, and I tried that out. And you lie down with that and lay it on your leg or whatever, open class. And you have 40 targets. And I'll be darned, I hit all 40 targets. 2 of them did not fall, so it didn't count. Those 2 did not count. But the person spotting for me said I actually hit them. So I actually hit every target, which was just amazing to me. I even lying down shooting open class. But so I might have shot one more match with that thing, and then I don't know. I just kind of fell away from that. And that wasn't really that interesting to me because it was kind of an impractical thing, and it was like, how do you miss? You shouldn't miss with that. You're lying down, you got that long sight radius, and you got that flat shooting bullet, and I should be able to hit them all. And so basically, if you didn't get a 40, you had a bad match, or if you got anything under 35 or 37 or 8, you had a bad match. And that just didn't appeal to me as much as trying to pop, whatever, 10, 15, 20 of them with a 44 Magnum, production gun standing. That was just more interesting to me. Just like in USPSA, I shot my limited gun from concealment, and and from an inside the waistband holster with full power 230 grain round ball. I didn't mess around with trying to shoot lighter ammo and all that sort of thing. I just wanted, I had a little Jeff Cooper in me, I guess, or too much Jeff Cooper in me. So, this is probably the longest Hickok45 talks on record. So, I'll shut up. And anybody asks me anything about my competition history, I'll say go to the Hickok45 Talks channel and look it up. Glad you came out. Appreciate y'all. Life is good.